like, oh my gosh. And that was it. I was just up the rest of the night trying to make sure she didn't die.
That's what I thought. I don't know. I knew she got shot in it, but for some reason I just figured all those other shots were for Benny Boy, and he died, and she would wake up, and he would be coming in, and there would be some
I definitely didn't think it would be her husband, though.
Me either.
That's the last one I thought about it.
I mean, did I go to the back of the book first, so. I wasn't back. Read the last chapter first. So I already. I know it is. So when I got to the part, I was like, is she gonna die? But then again, you just read, so she didn't die. So I know.
Well, I will share something with you. The incident where she is shot, in fact, did take place. That's true. That's a true story. It didn't take place at Howard. It took place at Meharry. It took place in about 1957. Because I heard I was still in college, and the incident was that there was a medical student at Meharry who was going with a girl from Fisk. True story. He was married. She apparently knew that he was married. And in particular, right, on the day of graduation, he shows up with wife and 2 children. She shows up with a 38, kills him, shot him dead on the campus, and then drove her car off a ditch and committed suicide. I mean, and that's all true. All of that. It took place about 1957, 58.
All right, so we got complain about getting our doctors back in the day.
Yes, I was like exactly.
I can't have them. Nobody.
Yeah, but which was kind of interesting. We had a book signing about a month ago in Las Vegas at the National Medical Association, which is the black version of the American Medical Association. There were some young guys that had graduated from Meharry maybe 5 or 6 years ago. And so they were asking what the book was about, and I said, oh yeah, you're talking about the girl that killed the guy. And so they remembered, and here's been 40, 50 years later, so that still is lore about that. But that was a true story. Yeah, I sort of changed it so that it took place, make it a little bit different, but that really was an actual factual case.
One thing I found extremely interesting was the fact that she was so nasty, but she was so nasty because she was so insecure. Yeah. She was so saying that was more for her than it was for anybody else. That was more of her trying to convince herself that she was the finest thing and any man wanted her, because she was so insecure and so jealous otherwise. So, you know, it just amazes me because she couldn't have thought she was all that. Because if you did, why would you be so jealous and insecure? You wouldn't be if you really thought that of yourself. Sure.
One thing I appreciate about the book was Perry. When Ayanna came to him and dropped his clothes, he, you know, in the back of his mind, he thinking, yeah, I can do this, but he just drinking his beer, ignoring her. And I was like, you know what? Wow, I really, really appreciated that part coming from a man whose best friend, girlfriend is coming on to him, and he just basically pushing her off and making her feel like, okay, did he just do this to me? And I really appreciate that because, other than the fact, he did not take it any further. He watched her, he let her do her thing, and still trying to say, okay, then you say you're going to drink this wine before Benny Boy get back? And she's like, okay, he really is telling me no. Yes, he's telling you no. I really like that scene.
But up until then, you figured he was the dog of dogs.
I knew he, I knew he was I was waiting for him. So I was like, yeah, I know he's going to do it. Oh, and I was like, oh, dirty dog. What's up with friend are you? And I was just cussing him out. Just cussing him out. And come to find out he was not as bad as I thought.
And I thought there was going to really be some conflict between the two of them over September. I never thought that it just kind of
or is it
this way, just went this way.
Like, maybe that's in the next part.
I don't, because, well, Perry seemed like towards the end of the book that he had a genuine affection for September, even though he tried to act like he didn't. I think he really, really cared for her.
I almost see September and Perry being together later.
Yeah,
I was thinking it too.
I don't think so.
But I think he looked at her more as that little sister figure. Now he really, really cares for her outside of relationship. If you see how towards the end of the book when she met him when he came to her school when he was driving through Wisconsin, you know, just how he talked to her, how he looked at her, and at dinner time and things like that, he looked at her more outside of relationship because I think he feel real like that's his little sister now. They just exactly.
And keep in mind, Perry Mott was color struck.
Yeah, he kept
Oh, yeah.
saying
Yeah,
that.
he was
Yeah.
color.
A lot of people were color struck in this movie.
Yeah. Well, during I had to be candid. During the '60s, the hierarchy in color was really prominent. You saw a lot of it in Spike Lee's movie School Days, but it was really worse than that during the '60s. I mean, all that stuff about the brown bag and all that. I mean, that was really prevalent. I remember the first. I happened to be a Kappa, so that's why I put that in there. But my first week on campus, when I went back to Washington, I went to the Kappa House there in D.C. And it was very interesting when they have a room that has all of the court, all the courts, going all the way back to the 30s. All of the women in there were fair skinned. It was really amazing that whole hierarchy about color and attitude still was very, very prevalent. So during the time that I was at Howard, that was a real issue. So I sort of amalgamated that and put that element in Perry Mott's personality, because that was part of what he was about. So you said it, and ultimately he saw September, instead of just objectifying, he just saw a really human. He was sort of very humanistic point of view in that aspect. But he wasn't. I had to give Perry a moral center, because otherwise the book would not have had that much meaning to it. But he wasn't going to cross there. Everybody was thinking he was going to cross the line on Benny Boy. Everybody never believed that. But he just, there was a line that he just wasn't really. Now he's still going to be a dog.
Right.
Yeah.
But just not his best friend.
He really could.
He has some loyalty, some
Exactly, that's his
did.
lawyer.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Which is good to
It
see
is.
and read nowadays, because now that it's so prevalent that, you know, oh yeah, I mess with his boy, you know, his girl, he don't know, whatever. What do y'all think about the fact that he didn't tell Benny Boy what she did?
Yeah, I
think
felt that type of way about that.
I think he did the right thing, because Benny Boy was so into her, and I don't think he would believe him. His friend was a dog. And he probably would say, you just jealous because, you know, I got her and you don't. She fine, she look like Lena Horne. You can get all these other ones, but you can't have mine. You know, it could have went anyway.
Right.
I don't think he would have believed him at all, because he was so lit.
Yes, he was.
Even
After she went off on him.
see that right there, that's the one like, okay,
that was
his clue. What television? What are you
up.
talking about? Television?
Pierre trying to keep us apart, and like, whoa.
Oh,
She needed to go.
when she told him, oh, I just want to marry you because you are a doctor, you're going to be a doctor, this and that. Oh, yeah, I don't love you. Oh, you don't what? You don't want to do what?
See, all that, he might have got over, but the part when she talking about television
that
and
was-
Pierre and all that,
That
that first something ain't right with
Pierre was
you.
in her eyes.
Yeah, because that was back in the day.
That's the something.
People didn't even have cameras. Regular people didn't have cameras. So how in the world she got cameras in her eyes?
So why her eyes that green? And that was crazy.
Yeah, she's crazy. But, you know, how do y'all feel about the part as far as her mom wanted to tell, but her dad wanting to keep it a secret? Let her
I
tell.
don't think.
her mom was lying.
Yeah, I do think. I think she
I
was.
don't think she was lying. Because then right after that, what did she do? They tried to talk him into seeing her.
And seeing her again.
After she was well. I think her
Like
mom
you
was
already know
lying.
now, so.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, let's
I
just
don't
pick up where we
think-
left
I don't
off.
think she wanted to tell him at all. I think she hoped it would just all go away.
Yeah, it was about the Benjamin for Mama too. It's
So you know
my
how you
daughter
say the mama
marries a
is.
doctor, then I'll still be able to keep my lifestyle as well.
Because you know how she said her mom married a doctor, her grandmother married
Right.
a doctor. So it's just like a chain of command. You marry a doctor too. You stays in the family.